is this just fantasy? Or are we going to conclude Hellboy Seed of Destruction today? Yes, we're doing that one. So we're going to be back in my library edition of Hellboy. And I'm doing that because it's real big, especially compared to your standard trade paperback. And yeah, so far it's been lovely reprinting. Yeah, we get to an exciting conclusion, and we can see how Mike Mignola and John Byrne concluded the first ever story of Hellboy. So here we have the frontispiece for the fourth issue. I'm guessing the good angels subduing the rebel angels. I'm assuming it's also coming from a classic work of art. Again, probably another Doré, or possibly another Doré illustration, but definitely a medieval one, or around that time period. But yeah, he loves them, and I love them too. And here we have our cover facsimile in just gray, which I'm all for. I really love it. From 94, it says. Stupid shine. Yeah, Hellboy fighting a skeleton version of our man, so that's just an awesome image. And more Monkey Man and O'Brien down there. I just love that it's still there, even in this library edition. So yeah, here we have our first image here of the book, and I'm assuming what we have here is the Saduhem, the tentacle beastie behind them. Great color work there. I love that. His glowing sword, all this energy rustling about on the perched on this rock. His distinctive design right there, replicated in kind of miniature, and there's Liz, kind of a enthrall to him. So let's see if we can get out of that. So yeah, another great image, again similar to the previous issue of the Saduhem. Just like, I don't even know, like it keeps changing and morphing, but I guess that's like it's Lovecraftian nature. And again, replicating the same image from before, it's like I know where we are. Geography's pretty consistent. And this guy's got his tongue wrapped around Hellboy. All seems lost. And he's talking about the power that's hidden within Liz. And yeah, Liz is somebody who really struggles with this immense power inside her. And, it continues on for quite a while. It's a really great story. She's a really great character. This monster just keeps getting worse and worse. And Hellboy's really got his work cut out for him. We got a beam flashing out into the sky, into deep space where the jihad is. And he's summoning that shit. So like he's trying to end the world in issue 4. Like, you think he's gonna do it? I don't know. Probably not. And yeah, just like I was saying last time, like never a boring page, and I just love that we have Hellboy pulling out a little grenade out of his one of his many pouches on his belt, which include, I love that he's got like an ankh here and a rosary and all that stuff, but he grabs a fucking grenade and he pulls the pin, and I love the little sound effect there. Mignola is always great for adding those tiny onomatopoeias to a punctuated image. It's so wonderful. And then he just jams this sucker right down his throat. And but also, I think it's also amazing that he's saying sorry to who this creature was, which, again, he's not a ruthless monster. He is the most human character in the whole series. And he's you know, probably just trying to ignore what just happened and that he blew that monster to chunks. I also just love this simple. I really love this simple rendition of an explosion where it's action lines, but like it's not just lines. It doesn't need all that. It does just enough, and it's got these chunks. It's putting the spot blacks in the right spot to show like where the light source was for this explosion, and you know it's just enough, but yet it's thrilling. You know, it's less is more is the true lesson of, you know, pouring over Mike Mignola's work. You know, and here we have the crystals out in Jack Kirby space with those crackles, and yeah, the boom. Nobody writes boom the same way that Mike Mignola does, and the fact that, you know, it's iconic itself is so, it's so amazing. It's just a word, and yet I know his boom from anybody else. And so, are we gonna do things? And what I love is that we cut to these aliens monitoring the situation. Here's where we get to sci-fi, folks. I'm sorry, I know it is this just fantasy. I guess not now. This is definitely sci-fi, but we kind of knew that was coming anyway. But they live in a mystical world too, you know, with demons and such. So let's relax a bit. And they're just like, something's wrong, and there's something inside there, and we don't know what we're doing, and that's because all the important actions happening down here. Love the split apart frog, the blown apart frog, I should say. You know, he doesn't have to go into too many gory bits to fully express what's happening there, but also love the smoldering bloody hand he's got here. You know, and yeah, the creature's breaking it open, and he's applauding the end, but then we get this little splash of blood to know. And again, such a great page turn moment because you're like, what happened, who did it? And coming in the clutch here at the very end, Abe Sapien hurls a harpoon through that motherfucker, and yeah, he's you know, being led by the spirit of Cavendish himself. So I don't know, just again an amazing page, amazing reveal. Yeah, and just him impaled, whether you get detail or not, is such a great image of the little splash of blood there. And yeah, Liz wakes up and bursts into flames, and her fire is nothing to blink at. And again, what a great splash. We got the monster there. We got our Rasputin, impaled and on fire. We got Liz here. We got Hellboy here. Got the blown apart frog here. We got the water. We got everything. And what I love is that so much of it is just simplified. Like, there's very little detail on Hellboy. There's no detail there except for in the silhouette. There's little, but yet detail is the enemy in some ways here with the art. The more spare it is, the stronger the image is. And look, we can already see that this thing is catching fire itself. Liz, it's not just Hellboy saving the day here. It's all three of them. He took out the frog. Abe took out Rasputin, and she's taking out the rest. A great panel here. Abe leaping to grab her, and again he shows the white of her sleeves and her shirt to denote, to make sure we know who it is. We see just the hint of his fins and the gray color to him, but we know that that's Abe. Love the path that this charts, that nice clear line of action there. The flames curling up on this rock look amazing. All the gross eyes of the Saduhem, and here we have our heroes reuniting, to escape. All of this is just so it's just fun. It's exciting to look at. Just this chaos here, and it's just it's a riot of fun for the senses, for the eyes, and I love these guys. Love them right here, and just what a great 3-shot. They're all a bit beat up. They're all having struggled, but yet they have succeeded. They're witness to this. They just paused the apocalypse. I won't say stopped, but they paused it. And bringing this whole place down on itself. And they gotta escape. And we see the last bit. Last bits remaining. And just when he thinks he's ready to get out of here, also just this is a great rendering right here. But it's all great. If you're not with it already, I don't know what to tell you. But then we have our final blast with Rasputin coming at him. Just this is super fantasy right here. He's got a fucking sword. He's this undead wizard breathing fire onto a demon man. This is peak fantasy shit. Like I live to not only look upon this stuff, but to try to create it myself. And he's had I've had it with you, and he just he starts belting this skeletal creep, and not a dull page, not a dull moment. He really ends it with a bang, as he should, or possibly with a boom. I just love the yellow, just denoting the fire and explosion, but the papa red that is Hellboy, and his bone shattering as he punches him apart, and the shattering of his skull. It is such a triumphant end to the first arc. And the memory of Cavendish and Cavendish Hall here, bursting apart. Yeah, and here we have them kind of rejoining each other after all this, and kind of catching each other up on what they've all been through, and how much they remember of all this shit. But they're all just trying to manage, and that's what's really great about the Hellboy universe, is how these human figures, even if they aren't human, they try to manage all of this heavy stuff, all the as I think a human would. You'd think like, oh, I'm just held up in this existential dread of being the beast of the apocalypse, and it's like he does what I think a normal human would do, and he tries to push it away. He tries to ignore it and just go about his day, do his business, and that's such a human response to such a heavy thing. But just never a dull page, ever. Even when you're showing just the torso of your fish man, I'm seeing it to know that that's Abe, but I'm looking at Liz here. Yep, and the story goes on as we find in the frozen ruins of a Nazi castle, the return of some fuckheads, basically. But that is the exciting conclusion of Seed of Destruction. And if you don't already have your own copy of it, go ahead and find it. The library edition here is amazing, but you can also just go ahead and get a trade paperback of it and enjoy it in that way as well. Most trades also include the first Hellboy story and some early art about where he was coming up with the creation of the character, how it used to be a team book. This is the first drawing ever of him. and he just thought the name Hellboy was hilarious, and then and this is when he's slowly becoming who he would eventually be, although his hand would get a little bit bigger, and then we also have our first Hellboy story. I think was in like a Dark Horse Presents. And it's just him fighting a big dog, and then just some fun images here that he puts together to just practice drawing his character. Which, if my practices ever looked this good, I would feel incredible, and sometimes I do when I've drawn some things. So that is Seed of Destruction, and boy, was it a good time. And if this doesn't sell you on the whole Hellboy thing, the Mike Mignola thing, I don't know what will, but we are going to continue on with the next volume, which is Wake the Devil, which has some amazing art in it, and I can't wait to talk about it, but I will. But yeah, for now, just, go out there, find some Hellboy, read it, and I hope you love it. If you want to support what I do and you want to see the kind of work that I create, I have a fantasy book called Side Questers. I have a fantasy anthology called Haxon that's related. I have a superhero book called 3-Panel Origin that's a web comic that I update every Thursday on Instagram. But I also have a collection that's the first 3 years, and I also have a book related to that. If you like what I do, seek out, check out, see if you like what you want, and get some of my books. Thank you.